Hello, this is Paul Hoyt. Welcome to our Awaken CEO System Office Hours webinar for today. Our Office Hours presentation is a relaxed, informal mentoring program that we do almost every Monday at noon Pacific time. All these recordings, slides, and exercises are archived in the members area of our website, and the recordings are available on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/Paul Hoyt. The reason I do these is because I know that being a successful business owner can be a great experience. But I also know that it's tough. You need education, training, tools, and team in order to be successful. And I want you to get to know me, because when you get to know me, you'll know that first and most importantly that I care about you. I want you to succeed in every area of your life, whatever that means to you. I want you to find the greatness, the happiness, the divinity within yourself, and then remember it, embrace it, and live it every single day as I do. My passion is to increase the survival rate, accelerate the growth rate, and reduce the struggle rate of businesses in America. And my vision is to help millions of CEOs and entrepreneurs accelerate their business growth and enjoy greater harmony and balance in their lives. And you can help. You can help by passing the word. If you find these office hours broadcasts valuable, these recordings valuable, please pass it along and share it with the people that you know who are thinking about starting a business or who have their own business, and let them know about this tremendously valuable resource that's available to them online. With our office hours presentations, we have an in-depth discussion of a business success principle. Then I offer some closing remarks, special offers, and an invitation for next week's session. Then we go into open questions and answers and coaching. So as we go through the presentation today, write down your questions. You can type them into the question box in your GoToWebinar control panel, or you can send them to an email at info@paulhoyt.com or info@hoytgroup.com, and we'll get them. But by far the safest way to do that is to type the questions into the chat box, or raise your hand and indicate that you have a question, and we'll call on you at the end of the presentation and invite you to share your question live with our audience. We also invite you to join us at the Brilliant Business Groups on Facebook and LinkedIn. And in the next week or so, we're going to open up the Awakened CEO communities on both Facebook and LinkedIn, and we'll be switching the Brilliant Business Group to the Awakened CEO community as we continue in shifting our brand to the Awakened CEO system. I invite you to join us online in social media, because we post a business success principle of the day 4 days a week on both Facebook and LinkedIn. And every day I post an energy of the day inspirational message on Facebook and on my website. I think we're up to day 585. And during the call today, if you like, make comments, ask questions, share insights and your takeaways on our Facebook Brilliant Business Group. Our goal is to have 20 comments and likes in the Facebook group. A week from Wednesday, we're going to have our next Awaken CEO Conversation, which is an interactive webinar with special guests. The next one is Wednesday, July the 8th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Watch your emails for sign-up information. If you sign up for an Awaken CEO Conversation before, we'll automatically register you for future conversations. Today's topic on our office hours presentation is on the power of why, how great leaders inspire. And it's based on the book, Start With Why, How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action by Simon Sinek. As always, we try to relate the subject matter of our office hours presentations to one or more of the key performance areas, and this one is all about leadership. It's all about the responsibility and the opportunity you have to be a very effective leader at your company, to have a winning mindset, and to align the organization you have with the vision and the passion that you have for your company. With the Awakened CEO system, we talk about the importance of operating on 3 different levels: at mindset level, methods, and momentum. And again, this one is all about mindset. The entire principle of starting with the why and communicating with your why is focused on capturing people's hearts and their minds in your business. Today, we're going to talk about the author, Simon Sinek, of the book Start With Why. We'll talk about his concept of the golden circle. We'll give some examples of the language of why. Then we'll talk about the why of the why. And we'll talk about ways in which you can implement the why, and ways that the why can get diffused when you have the challenge of success. Then we're going to wrap it all up with the bottom line. Simon Sinek is from Wimbledon, England, was born in 1973, and he recorded the famous TED Talk, Start With Why, which is the third most viewed video on TED.com. I watched that presentation before today's broadcast, so I would be up and current on it, but it's had over 500,000 views on the YouTube channel in which I watched it. I think it's had a lot more than that when you combine TED.com views and the YouTube views. It's really great, and certainly I recommend that if you as a result of this presentation, go watch that presentation, because he is a fantastic presenter, and he does make some great points during that presentation. He has, interestingly, a degree in cultural anthropology and intended to be a lawyer or a barrister in England, as they call them, but he went into advertising instead, and then discovered this whole what about the why and the power of starting with the why a few years ago. The fundamental premise of the golden circle and the power of why and why you start with the why is this circle that you see on your screen now, where why is the center or the target area, how is the next ring, and then what is the ring after that. Simon says that most people start with what you do when they're having conversations with people about business. We make computers, we do consulting, etc. And then they talk about the how of what you do, the ways in which you fulfill your belief, or the ways in which you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. And only later on do they get to the core beliefs and the purpose and the passion behind your business. And his premise is, throughout this book, that people are far better off if they start with the why. And we focus on communicating the why, and then the how, and then the what. He says just to reverse the language that most people use when they're talking about their products and services. He wants you to be very clear on the why, because people need to know why you are doing what you are doing in order for them to buy in with their hearts. Then you focus on the discipline of the how, which enables you to hold people accountable to what you do and allows you to scale. And then, and lastly, focus on the consistency of the what, so that you're focusing on the results that you have as a company. Because when you are aligned in between the why and the how and the what, people will say that we know who you are. They will say we know what you stand for, and they will understand you at a subconscious, emotional, gut level. And there won't be any confusion in the different aspects of who they are in order to cause any hesitation or resistance in doing business with you. And he gives a lot of examples of the language of why in his book and the TED Talk, and I'm going to share some of those with you right now to show you the difference in between the language of what and the language of how and the language of why. One of his favorite companies is Apple Computers, and he talks about Apple before we get into that, I want to talk about the language of why. And one of his favorite things he says is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And the goal in all of selling isn't to sell people who need what you have, but it's rather to find people and to sell to people who believe in what you believe. Because if you can find people who believe in what you believe and who are aligned with your passion, your purpose in life, and your cause, your mission of your business, it's much, much, much easier to explain to them the value that they're going to get from the what of you do. And here's some examples of how you switch your language. One of his favorite companies is Apple Computers. If somebody said from an Apple computer store, you know, our products are beautifully designed and user-friendly, you want to buy one, it really does not invoke a lot of passion. We don't really care about products that are beautifully designed and user-friendly. What we care about is the passion that Apple brings to the marketplace. And he suggests that they switch their language, and they do switch their language to something like this. In everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. And the way we do this, the way we deliver this to the marketplace, is by making our products beautifully designed and user-friendly. You want to buy one? The language of the why, the language of challenging the status quo, about being different, about being special, gets people to resonate with the Apple Computer Company in such a way to where they really don't care what it is that they make. And that's why Apple has been able to sell not only computers, but smartphones and iPods and tablets and many other electronic devices as well, and even iTunes. So Apple makes money in a lot of different ways because they focus on the why first and not the what or even the how of the individual product. Here's another example. Ernest Shackleton is a famous explorer. Many years ago, a century ago, he explored Antarctica, and he and his 26, 28 people got stranded in Antarctica for months and months and months. Miraculously, they all survived. And it was the reason why was because of the people that he attracted. Instead of running an ad in the local newspaper that said something like this, men needed for an expedition, minimum 5 years experience, come work for a fantastic captain. His actual ad in the newspapers to attract people for his adventure was this: men wanted for a hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, and safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. And with that ad, focusing on the emotional aspects of his business and the why of that, to go on a hazardous journey and to have great adventure along the way, he attracted people who not only survived but seemed to thrive in the isolation of Antarctica after being stranded there for months and months and months. Here's another example of the language of why. If I have a salad company and I talk to people about my salads, I could start out with talking about the what and saying, hey, we've got some really great salads here. You want to buy one? Or I could expand that conversation to talking about the how. You know, our salads are made from the finest organic ingredients and Mama Sherry's special dressing that you can't get anywhere else. You want to buy one? But watch what happens when I start with the why. We are out to change the world's eating habits and save our planet and give our children longer and healthier lives. We do that by combining the finest organic ingredients in Mama Sherry's special dressing so that we can make fantastic salads. Do you want to buy one? I know that I do. And the reason is because I've connected with the why. The why of we are out to change the world's eating habits and to give our children longer, healthier lives. That's so much more powerful, so much more inspirational and persuasive than just starting out with, we've got fantastic salads and we use the finest organic ingredients. And here's the why of the why. The why of the why is not psychology. The why of the why is actual physiology. Physiology, because the emotional mind is much, much more powerful than the conscious mind. And I know for those of you who are listening to this or attending live, that that's maybe difficult for you to accept. It's really difficult to accept for smart people because we smart people, and I think everyone on this call is a smart person, really value our conscious mind and our rational mind. We value the power of our language. We value our analysis ability, our ability to think things through and rationalize things and make great decisions based upon our conscious mind. For those of you who are that way like I used to be, here's some analyst language for you. The limbic brain is more powerful than the neocortex. So the bottom line is, even though it's very difficult for most smart people to accept, your emotional mind, your lizard brain, your limbic brain is far, far, far more powerful than is your rational mind. The emotional mind is by far the most powerful part of who you are. The why of the why says that when we activate the limbic brain, when we activate the emotional mind, when we make an emotional connection with somebody, we become more powerful, and people instinctually want to follow powerful people. So when we use emotional language, when we talk about the why, we dip into our own passion, our own purpose, our own mission in life, our own cause, and by doing so, we become more powerful and we inspire people to follow us because people want to follow powerful people. Inspiring leaders instinctually knew this. And he talks about in the book the example of the Wright brothers and how they just had to fly. And it was their passion and their purpose and their cause that caused them to crack the code on powered, controlled flight before anyone else. He talks about Martin Luther King, who had a dream about equality and just had to share that dream with other people and activate other people, inspire them to action. And Steve Jobs, who railed against the establishment, especially in the 1984 Super Bowl ad, where the warrior woman ran onto a gray and otherwise dismal set and threw her hammer and broke the screen. He railed against the establishment and knew that he just had to make a ding in the universe. That was his passion. That was his why. Those inspiring leaders, all of them, thought and communicated differently than anyone else. Here's a quote from the book. All great and inspiring leaders think and act and communicate like each other, and it is the complete opposite of everyone else. Everyone else starts with the what, but great leaders start with the why. Great leaders touch the hearts of their community by starting with the why, by getting people aligned with, inspired by the purpose, the passion, the cause, the why of their business. And that's why they're successful, and that's why they're inspiring leaders. When you go to implement the why, one of the big suggestions he makes, which I totally agree with, is find people who believe the way that you believe. You can teach the skills and you can teach the mental stuff, but you can only influence the heart. Far more effective for you to find people who believe what you believe and then teach them to do what you need for them to do. Share your dreams first and then share your plan. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. He didn't say, I have a plan. He said, I had a dream in order to touch the hearts of his followers. To rally the people who believe, you want to use a tremendous amount of energy, because energy excites and charisma inspires. You want to encourage them to dream the dream too, and to know that they are doing their part to make the dream come true, to manifest that dream into reality. You have to be real and authentic to your vision and your passion. You have to be in integrity in everything that you do, because any hypocrisy that you have, any lack of alignment that you have, significantly diminishes your power, will cause people to question whether or not you are really fighting for the dream and fighting for the cause, and cause a tremendous diminishment in the power. Once you have created an extremely powerful company, then you face the challenge of success. The challenge of the success happens when the why gets fuzzy and the focus of your company shifts from the why into the what and the how, and that's all you're talking about is the results and how you're going to get those results and the numbers, instead of the passion and the cause and the why of your business in the first place. And when you leave the language of the why and start focusing on the what and the how, that feeling of success leaves too, because people stop being aligned with it and they stop marching, as inspired, courageous soldiers, and they start just being tacticians instead of strategy. So here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that if you are clear and compassionate and passionate about the why, people will follow you. You will find those who believe in your mission, find it to be a worthy cause, and will join you in your cause, because people don't care nearly as much about what you do as why you do it. And with that, I want to share again my why, about the why of the Awakened CEO and the why of this business that I have. It's because I love small business owners and entrepreneurs. I fall in love with practically every entrepreneur that I meet, and I just want to help them be successful. I think they're the finest people on the planet, and I know that they are struggling unnecessarily because they don't get the training and education and mentorship that they need, and I know that I can make a huge difference in their lives. And that's why I start out every single office hours by saying that my passion is to increase the survival rate, accelerate the growth rate, and reduce the struggle rate of businesses in America. And my vision is to help millions of CEOs and entrepreneurs accelerate their business growth and enjoy greater harmony and balance in their lives. Do you want to help? Do you want to be on that team that helps the finest people in the earth to get their business started and grow successfully? Do you know somebody that I could support in my cause? If you do, then I encourage you to share, to reach out your hand, to send us an email and let us know whether we can support you or support somebody that you know as they struggle to start their business. Our agenda today was to talk about the author, the golden circle, the language of why, the why of the why, implementing the why, the challenge of success, and I added a little bit of a bullet there to show you about the particular passion that I have about my business. And we summed it all up with the bottom line. Now here comes your homework. I encourage you to buy the book, Start With Why, and read it. So because there's a lot more stuff in there that is available on the TED Talk or in this presentation that I just provided. And I really strongly encourage you to discover your why, discover your passion, discover your purpose, discover your cause, discover your mission, and then find ways to effectively communicate that with other people so that you can attract people to your business who believe in the same things that you believe in. Hold true to your why in every single thing that you do, and you will find those people to join your cause. And if you need it, get coaching and support to help you along the way. We're going to open up to questions and answers in just a minute, where we'll first invite comments and questions on the subject matter of the day. And then I invite you to tell me what your biggest takeaways are and what insights you gained from this presentation. And I invite you to tell me what you're going to focus on. And I especially invite you to type in the chat log or raise your hand so we can take you off mute and let you tell the world what your why is, what your passion, what your purpose, and what your cause is. Here at the Hoyt Management Group, we provide a wide variety of support services. We teach you how to do things. We do them with you, and in some cases, we do them for you. We strongly believe in the do-it-with-you model as opposed to the do-it-for-you model in almost everything that we do, but in some cases, we will do it for you as well. I want to remind you that we're having an Awakened CEO conversation a week from Wednesday, which is an interactive webinar with special guests on July the 8th at 6 p.m. Pacific. Watch your emails for sign-up information. In the office hours presentations, we focus primarily on business. In the Awakened CEO conversation, we focus primarily on personal growth and professional growth issues. Our next office hours is going to be next Monday, July the 6th, and we're going to do live group coaching so I can take off the weekend and focus on family activities because we do have a holiday weekend coming up. Let me know what topics that you'd like for me to address on future office hours presentations at paulsurvey.com. And in between now and the time we meet again, do your homework. With that, we're going to open it up to questions and answers and coaching as well from myself and my team. So I want to open it up right now and say, Stephanie, do we have any questions or comments?
Yes, we do. Just a second, let me get them right here. Here's one. What if your why is a cause that has not been defined yet?
That's an interesting question. What if your cause has not been defined yet? Then I just encourage you to define it. Without any more information on that, I invite you to look into your soul. One of my favorite sayings is that our pain inspires our passion, and our passion gives us power, and our power gives us performance, and our performance gives us profits. So it's a sequence of P's there. It's our deepest, darkest pain that inspires our passion, that really triggers our greatest passion. So look into your life and figure out where some of your biggest pain is in your life, because that pain then lies in that pain lies the secret to your passion. And once you find that passion, then you can turn that passion into your purpose, and turn that purpose into your power, and turn that power into your performance, and that performance into your profits. So there's a sequence of P's there. But look into your life and find out where that biggest pain is. Is it the lack of respect that you got from somebody? Is it the time that you got, that you got abused or screwed by somebody in some particular way? That you weren't treated fairly. When you dig into that pain, it really helps you find the purpose and the passion. But I encourage you to do that, by the way, with the counsel and guidance of another person. There are lots of coaches and therapists and counselors out there that can help you dig into that. And I certainly would encourage you to do that, because sometimes that pain can be a very dark place that you can have a real challenge getting out of. So if you're still looking for your reason, your cause, your purpose, then usually it's just on the other side of an awareness from yourself about what some of the biggest pain is that you've experienced in your life. Hopefully that was helpful.
I'd like to add a little bit something there also, Paul.
Please do, Stephanie.
I find that many times these conversations often come from practice. And I find that the more that you practice, the more that you articulate your message, you'll find yourself able to fine-tune and get down to the essence of your message. So sometimes when you're first starting out, it's all about trial and error, and your first 2 or 3, 4 conversations, you may find yourself saying, oh, I wish I didn't say that. Oh, I should have said this. I lost that person when I said this. And that's just a natural course. That's just what happens when you are beginning to articulate your messaging. So just recognize that this practice and that trial and error is just part of the process. It's all a good thing, and it's going to help you find the golden nuggets in your message.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for that. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of courage. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage to go out there and explore that and be open with yourself first, and then open with others about some of the challenges that you've faced in your life. But facing them is a really good way to tap into your own personal power. We have a question online here from Michael, who has joined our call. I'm going to read this to us and then invite other questions as well. The people that we spoke of, which we gave 3 examples with Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King, and the Wright brothers, the question is, did this come naturally to them, or how they might have nurtured the passion that they had? I think that's the question. Did this come to them naturally, or how might they have nurtured this passion? I think it probably came to them naturally. I think, Martin Luther King was an extremely accomplished and powerful speaker. And I know from being a speaker myself that when you are speaking to audiences, you find out what really moves them, what really they are responding to. So as a speaker, when you are out live speaking, not like today when I'm doing a webinar and I don't get to see your faces or watch your body language, but when you're in live presentations, you can tell what moves the audience to have a response. So my guess is that Martin Luther King discovered his why. I think that the Wright brothers and Steve Jobs just had that passion of wanting to make a ding in the universe, and just this tremendous passion about being successful at the journey that they were on. In Steve Jobs' place, he railed against the establishment. He wanted to put a personal computer in the hands of every single person, and he didn't want it to come from IBM or some stodgy old, blue-collar company, or blue chip company rather. He wanted to come from a fresh company, a young company with young ideas, and wanted to appeal to his particular generation. The Wright brothers we don't know about. The Wright brothers, we know that they had the passion to persevere and the determination, but I'm not sure whether they were just focused on, solving powered flight and changing, mankind, or whether it was just a fantastic problem and an enigma and a realization they had that they really put their heart and soul into it, that they could be the first persons to actually have controlled flight, which I think is really, really significant. So I don't know whether they discovered that or whether it came natural to them. I do think, however, with the first question, is we all have that naturally occurring why, because nobody makes it to adulthood without facing challenges in their life, or without having a brother or a sister or a cousin or a good friend who faced challenges in their lives that really inspires us because of the pain that we either experienced personally or that we experienced vicariously through the challenges that a loved one had experienced. So we all have that experience in our life. And if we go through and explore that, I think we can find our passion as well. Anything that you'd like to add to that, Stephanie?
You know, I know that from my study of some of the people that I really admire, Steve Jobs, Henry Ford, and others, that I've heard many of them say that they didn't always have the genius to do it all, and that they hired the team to help them to fill in those gaps with the knowledge, the education, or whatever it is that they knew that they did not have. So I think that that's something that as CEOs and entrepreneurs, many times we forget. We feel like we have to do it all, and we don't have to do it all.
That's an excellent point. I think that once we have established the why and the purpose of our business and the cause, and clearly communicated the mission, we will attract people to us who have the talent to come in and fill in a gap. In fact, I've actually seen that happen. Somebody finds a company that they really love because they love the cause and the why of the business, and they see, wow, there's an opportunity. I can contribute in this way. I have this genius, I have this skill, and you have this gap, and we are a natural fit for each other. So they really get inspired then when they see that they can be instrumental in the company's success. Well said. Next question.
Okay. Is there anything that Michael wanted to add before I move on? Is he complete?
I didn't take him off mute. He only had it. He had just had it in the question box there. Okay. So that's the only question I have.
Let's see. The next question. I am an inventor and I just have to get my invention to market. What's my why?
Of course, that depends upon the invention, of the why of the invention. But I invite you to think about the value that you're bringing to your clients and the pain that you are helping them resolve, or the joy that you're helping them experience. So every invention that you have has a purpose. It could make somebody's life a little bit easier. It could make somebody feel better about themselves, enhance their self-image or self-esteem. It could make them feel safer. It could bring them convenience. I mean, you have to find the value in your invention to your client. And then once you discover the value in that invention, you can find the pain that you are resolving and let that become the purpose for that particular product. If you have a multitude of products, then you have to find the why of the product instead of the why of the company, like Apple has done. So I invite you to look at the pain that you are resolving. And frankly, if you're not resolving a significant amount of pain, then beware that that invention may not be commercially viable. As it turns out, only a very small percentage point, 1 or 2% of all the inventions that people have actually turn out to be commercially viable, because bringing an invention to market is one of the toughest things that any business owner can possibly do. You have to, much better to resolve a pain than it is to just help somebody with wellness. As they say, it's far easier to sell Band-Aids than it is aspirin, because it's easier to get people emotionally involved with the pain that they are experiencing than it is to get them emotionally involved with increased joy or comfort that they might be having. And that's one of the reasons why fearful message, selling safety and security, is so much easier than selling comfort and reward, because of the amount of emotional engagement that people experience around those things that make them feel very, very uncomfortable and make them feel unsafe as well. So it really depends on the individual invention. Find the pain that you are solving on behalf of your clients and turn that into your why, that you're going to help people resolve this particular problem, help them through the anguish of experiencing something. Is by far the best sort of inspirational message that you can give people. Hope that was helpful. Stephanie, you got anything to add to that?
It's just so interesting how many of us entrepreneurs come up with what we think is the perfect solution. We got this great idea, but we fail to consider that it may solve a problem or pain that we have, but it might not solve very many other people's pains. So that's a extremely valuable lesson there. Ask the marketplace, right?
Yeah, and I'll add one thing to that. Oftentimes I see that the inventor, is really just wants to be cool. They want to be accepted. They want to make a lot of money. They're focused on the invention, the coolness of the invention, instead of the the pain that they are resolving on behalf of their customers. Next question.
All righty. Whoops, where'd it go? I need to make a lot of money to save for retirement. Is that a good why?
Certainly, we want you to save a lot of money for retirement and have a comfortable retirement. And that may be a very good why for yourself, but it's not necessarily a good why for your company. And here's why. Pardon the dual language there. Whys occur on different levels. There's personal whys and there's company whys. There's cultural whys. Everything that we've talked about today is the company why. It's not the personal why. So when we do research on why people start and grow businesses, the most commonly accepted reasons are that they want to be their own boss, that they want to do their own thing, and they want to have the possibility of massive wealth. They want to be in control of their own career, and that's why they want to be their own boss. Usually because in some way, you know, their boss was just not the most pleasant person to work with or deal with, or their company changed in some way that didn't have anything to do with their personal performance that caused their job to be far less satisfactory than it was before. So they want to be their own boss. They want to do their own thing because they're creative people that are stymied in the particular job that they have, and they want the possibility of massive wealth because they know that they're an A player, and they just know that they were out in business for themselves, that they could find an opportunity that came through the door and jump on that opportunity and make a tremendous amount of money. Well, those are the three most common reasons that people go into business for themselves. But if you'll notice something, that those are all reasons of the head. They're really not reasons of the heart. The three most common reasons of the heart that I have seen for people to go into business for themselves is, number one, self-actualization. They just feel like there's just more greatness within them, and they want to find that greatness, tap into that greatness, realize that greatness, express that greatness. They just have to be all that they can be. They have to be the best that they can be. They have a burning drive and desire to be the very best that they can be. And so they're passionate about self-actualization. The other second emotional reason that I see for people who go into business for themselves is as part of a personal redemption plan, is that they just got to show somebody. They got to show the boss that fired them. They got to show the girl that dumped them. They got to show the person, the friend who never didn't believe in them, that they can be a success. They have to prove something to themselves and other people, and that's a motivation of the heart. The third motivation of the heart is desperation. Somebody just can't find a job, or they just can't hold down a job, and the only thing that they have left to do is to have their own company because they just have got to be boss, because for whatever reason, typically emotional intelligence and relationship issues, that they just have to be their own boss. But it could be, by the way, just of circumstance. You know, a huge plant just shut down in my hometown and I was laid off, and 50,000 of my friends were just laid off too. Or we're in a recession and there's nothing else I can do. Or I just got out of the service and I was trained as a machine gunner and a tank operator, but they don't translate well to civilian and commercial environments. So I have to do something different, and I'm fairly desperate because I got a wife and kids to support, or a husband to support, or a college education that I need to get. So there are reasons of the heart that are personal whys, and the most common three that I have found are self-actualization, personal redemption, and desperation, that go along with the three most popular reasons of the head, which are: I want to be in control, I want to be my own boss, and I want to do my own thing, and I want the possibility of massive wealth. So all of those are great personal whys. So when you think of the why of your business, we all have our personal whys that we want to be in business. But I invite you to, and this entire book of Start With Why invites you to, explore the why of the business itself. It's the why of the team, not the why of the individual. You, as the leader of your company, as the CEO and the entrepreneur of your company, need to find the why for the team, the why that can be the rallying cry, the why that can attract people who believe like you believe and think like you think, and who want to do what you want to do, and who want to make sure the team is successful and the team, makes their ding in the universe and solves a planetary problem that only the team can solve. So I hope that was helpful a little bit in focusing on the difference between personal whys and personal whys of the head and whys of the heart, and the why of the team or the why of the company, and how valuable it can be to really understand whys at all levels, at all levels of passion and success. Stephanie, do you have anything to add to that?
I got another little part of the question for that.
Okay.
What if your why, and you kind of answered this, but what if your why today really is just to simply make more money?
That's not a particularly bad why, because you can surround yourself with other people who want to make a lot of money too. Or you can surround yourself with people who are inspired by somebody who wants to make a lot of money, because they feel like, if my boss becomes a billionaire, well, there's going to be lots of opportunity for me. If I'm working at a company that is just growing, that's what I really want to do, is I want to work at a growing company, one that's very rapidly growing. I don't care whether they're making, cheesesteaks or plants or automobiles. I just want to work at a company that's thriving and growing well, because that gives me more opportunity at wealth. I think that that's a pretty darn good why. But it's not nearly as good as a company that is out to solve a massive amount of pain on our planet, and a company that can have a team that believes in the cause of the company and will want to be on that team in order to solve the pain of the planet. And here's the reason why. The reason why is because if your only goal is to make a lot of money, and you only want to work at a company that's making a lot of money and thriving, then when that company starts to suffer challenges, and almost every company, by the way, suffers challenges. I can't think of a single company that hasn't suffered some challenges along the way. People will leave the company when the challenges happen because they're not bought into the why. Because if all they want to do is work at a thriving company that's making a lot of money, when that company ceases to thrive and the bonuses are not being paid out the way that they used to be paid out, they'll jump ship and go somewhere else where the company is thriving. If you want to have a company of loyal teammates, of people who will stick with you through thick and thin, then focus on the why of the company. Focus on solving pain. Focus on doing something significant, having an impact, making a ding in the universe. And the people who are inspired to join you will also be inspired to stay with you when the going gets a little rough. And that's why, one of the big reasons why we want a why. Stephanie?
Absolutely. I find that, in our work with our clients, so many individuals, I find that if you really are just interested in the money, there's always going to be a shiny new object, another make money seminar, another business opportunity. There's always going to be another carrot there that you're going to want to go for. So you got to, I think it's critical that we identify with our why. And if it really is just to make more money, then make sure that you set your intention and make a commitment and follow through. That goes off into a whole different conversation.
I love it. Well said. Do we have any other questions?
We do.
Okay.
Can you help us to clarify our business why? Do you have any exercise or education, anything that you can give us to help us clarify that?
As I mentioned earlier, when somebody was thinking about or asked the question about how do I find my why, it's always a good idea to work with a coach whenever you start, exploring the pain from a personal level. And work with a marketing professional or a strategist like we have at our company when you want to find the pain in the marketplace. There are a lot of good marketing programs that we know about and are very experienced in bringing to our clients to help you understand your marketplace's hot buttons and then validate the pain that you see in the marketplace and validate the way in which your products and services are relieving the pain that you see in your marketplace. So yes, from both a personal level and from a professional or business level, Through our coaching and planning programs, we can help you discover that why. And not only that, but help you with the language of why and how you communicate your passion and your purpose to your specific marketplace in your marketing collateral, your landing pages, your websites, the language that you use on your sales scripts, etc. So we'd be honored to have a conversation with you about how we can help you discover and communicate the why internally and externally at your company. Anything else, Stephanie? Any other questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Where can you get industry data on a cause, on your cause, behind your why? For example, how do you quantify the cause behind the why? Where can you get the your data?
That's a really great question, and certainly something whenever we do business plans, we always try to quantify the marketplace and quantify the size of the problem that you have out there. There are a tremendous amount of information available for free on the internet. Try multiple search engines if you like. Do Google and then Bing and then other search engines to try to find that. There are a lot of trade associations and industry groups that published their research and their surveys. And then there's always the purchased research articles that you can get. For the most part, I don't buy research articles. I mostly use the information that's readily available on the internet that I can find through Google searches. This is my favorite search engine right now. And I think you can find that as well. If you have problems reaching that, then you can always look out to us or some other research professional to help you find the numbers behind the pain so that you can quantify the pain and you can communicate to potential investors and teammates the size of the problem and the difference that you want to make in the world out there. So, Google set out to organize the world's information and make it readily accessible, and I think they've done a pretty darn good job of doing that. I can find a tremendous amount of information online. And if you need to, there are research organizations that publish research studies, every single year, and for $100 or $200 or for $300, if you really feel like you need to augment the information that you can find that's available for free with information that's available for purchase, you can certainly purchase those research papers. Thanks for that question. And we certainly open it up. We've got a few more minutes now, and I open it up to questions about anything in business, not just the why and the personal why and all that, but anything in business that you want to ask a question about. We have a few more minutes, and we'll just open it up to everything. Anything else, Stephanie? Hearing none? Stephanie, I can't hear you. I don't know if you're still there with us or not, or thinking. She may have.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just talking to myself,
Okay.
I have these conversations by myself too many times.
Speak to me.
There is a question here about another subject.
Okay.
Let's see. Jean wants to know, she's having problems moving through her fear, building her business, and she wants to know what she can do to continue to move through that, and if you can help her with that. Yeah.
The answer is yes, we can help you with that specifically, because we have our Awakened CEO system is really all about business growth and professional growth and personal growth, and the relationship in between personal growth and professional growth and business growth. So every business owner that I've ever met in my life has times where they come across a challenge or an issue that causes them some hesitation and resistance and causes them to stop in their tracks for a little bit. The good ones and the successful ones find a way to move forward in the face of that fear. And there's a couple of things that you can do. One of the things is that you can think it through, and you can really just realize, little things like, hey, what's the worst that could happen? Or is this fear really as significant as I think that it is? And then the second thing is to move forward in courage and take a little step. In fact, in our last Awakened CEO conversation that we had, I read a little inspirational message on little steps. And the inspirational message goes something like this. When you find yourself in times of being frozen with fear or really not knowing what to do next, just take a little step in the direction of your dreams, and then take another little step, and then take another little step. And as you take those little steps, then you'll find that they come a little bit quicker. And pretty soon, you'll be taking quicker little steps, and you'll begin to build momentum. And then after a while, as the momentum builds, you can even begin to take those little steps with a lighter heart, and then a little bit of joyfulness and a little bit of spring in your steps. And then you'll be taking quick little happy steps too. And that's what we really want you to do. So we encourage you to take little steps and coach you through the process of finding out what those next little steps are, so that you can make sure that the next steps are the right steps in your business, and encourage you, inspire you, hold your hand, and help you take those steps, whatever they might be for your business. So that's the primary message, is that everybody gets these challenges. Everybody gets stuck for a few minutes or a few hours or a few days because they don't know what to do next, or they're afraid of taking that next step when they know what it is. And the answer is to work with somebody to help you figure out what a really good next step would be. Make that a little step, and then just take a step in the direction of your dreams, and then take another and another and another. Anything else, Stephanie?
That was beautiful, and we are complete.
I want to thank you all for joining us on the webinar today. To reiterate, I fall in love with practically every business person that I ever met. I think CEOs and entrepreneurs are the finest people on this planet, and I see a whole bunch of them struggling unnecessarily because they don't get the training and the education and the mentorship and the support that they need in order to make their journey a little bit easier. And that's what we're passionate about here at Hoyt Management Group, about doing everything we can to increase the survival rate, accelerate the growth rate, and reduce the struggle rate of small businesses in America. And until we meet the next time, this is Paul Hoyt wishing you a most marvelous and prosperous day. Bye-bye.